even before the pandemic, I only went to the hairdressers every 6 to maybe 9 months. It's not that I hate it, it's just, well, I don't get excited about it. I go when my hair just gets a bit, you know, that feeling. And every time I do go, I just end up feeling like I missed out on some kind of special class at school or something. I have no idea about the etiquette of what I'm meant to say or do. My order? Always excruciatingly boring. I feel sorry for the hairdresser. Just a few inches off the end, please. I did go through a phase of getting a fringe cut in or layers just to give the hairdresser something a bit more interesting to do or get a bit more bang or bangs, as the Americans would say, for my buck. Still, you live and learn. A bit. No plans, just a nice night in. I used to lie. Mainly, again, so the hairdressers felt that their work wasn't wasted, that it was going to go out and be seen and be appreciated. Also, a little bit of me wanted to be a bit more exciting than I actually am. No, I have been before, yeah. This is another anxiety of mine. Every time I phone up, I do explain that I have been before, but I don't have a usual hairdresser. I'll just take who's available. I feel like I'm breaking some kind of code of loyalty. You read in magazines and books that hairdressers can be your best friend and confidant, and I feel guilty that I haven't worked at that relationship with them. But actually, I expect they're doing just fine without me. Hair washed, I now have to sit staring in a mirror for a full hour. Without my glasses on, which is approximately 50 more minutes than I would spend looking in the mirror over the course of an average week. I have no idea why it takes so long to get my boring do done. I think it's price justification. I read somewhere that women spend on average £16.80 more than a man on an average visit to the hairdresser. That's 40% more. And I don't understand why that is. Anyway, I realise that this isn't the time and place to try and fix the patriarchy. It's not the hairdresser's fault, it's not even the shop's fault, it's just a system. But give me this much me time. I will start to plot a revolution in my head. You know, like Oasis. I look around, trying just to use my eyes, at the other women in the salon who can drink their lattes and read their magazines as the hairdresser just works around them. If I so much as slightly breathe or move, my head has to be moved slightly back into place, into the desired location. How did the other women know what to do? Was this some lesson I missed at school? I have to remember that I am being pampered. This is a treat. I'm enjoying it. I am enjoying it. I'm relaxed. I'm so relaxed. As the hairdresser gets to work, I kind of zone out and travel through time, through all my mishaps with beauty. Age 11, I'm on the school bus with my friend, who says to another friend, whilst pointing at me, "She could be really pretty with makeup, don't you think?" Now, until that point, I hadn't thought of myself as ugly or beautiful. I hadn't thought of it at all. The only makeup I would have had access to would have been my mum's. And if I put on makeup that was my mum's, I'd end up looking like my mum. But I was age 11. 30 years later, I think of a zinger for a reply. You could be polite if you shut up, don't you think? In reality, I think I just said, thanks, and just went to think about it for the next 30 years. Not long after that, I decide I'm going to get my hair cut short. So I go to the hairdresser with a picture of Anne Diamond, age 12, a picture of Anne Diamond. I got what I asked for. I look like Anne Diamond, age 12. I am now at the absolutely bored out of my tiny mind phase. Time for a haunting memory of the past. That day, I'd had enough of my boss asking me to type out a written version of the spreadsheet that I'd just given him. I admired his persistence and diligence with paper, but all he was asking me to do was the same job except a little bit more rubbish. I walked back to my desk triumphant in this negotiation. A few minutes later though, he came to my desk and said I might want to go to the ladies to check my skirt. I stood up and to my absolute horror, I found my whole skirt had been tucked into the back of my tights. So as I had exited haughtily just a few seconds ago, well, that triumph was instantly reframed, wasn't it? I probably would have left me for a bit longer, maybe the rest of the day. But he was a good man. And I learnt something important, that no matter how rotten someone may have just been to you, you don't need to be rotten back. Be the bigger person. And they might learn a lesson to be a little bit nicer to people a lot sooner than they otherwise would have. How do I want it dry? She has just asked me, how do I want it dry? Totally, utterly, and completely dry, please, are all the answers I can't say. I know I can't say them, but it's all I can think of. What do I do? Straight. Yeah, straight would be great. Yeah, straight. Thanks. I'm saying straight too many times, but I could vomit with relief at the suggestion. No, I've not booked any holidays this year. Has anyone? That reminds me. My first solo holiday anywhere in the world was to NYC, the Big Apple. If I could make it there, I could make it anywhere. I felt like Destiny's Child. I was an independent woman. I'm so cosmopolitan, it aches. In my head. I'd made it to the Metropolitan Museum of Art. It was so stunning. I stopped for a rest in the restrooms, as ladies do, and as I walked in I saw myself in the mirror and I did a double take, and then I did a triple take, and I noticed the most enormous bird mess in the ends of my hair dripping down the back of my coat. You'd think New York would be the type of place that would tell you that type of thing. Or I guess I maybe just looked like another hobo wandering the streets of New York. Anyway, I think we're nearly done. Talking of do's, I once got invited to a Swish do, and not knowing what to do when I go to a do, but I thought I'd heard other ladies do, I booked myself in at the hairdressers to get a do done for the do. Anyway, I just took 2 little clips and asked the hairdresser to just do it nicely and pop them in at the end. The hairdresser was really excited and started to give me the do of her dreams. I emphasise her dreams. Before I even knew what was happening, the rollers were in my hair and I was being backcombed within an inch of my life. She stopped teasing my hair. I resembled something more like Priscilla Presley or Queen of the Desert. And before I could even breathe, there was more hairspray on my head than I'd ever put on my head in my entire life. And there wouldn't be time to undo the do before the do. So I went to this do looking nothing like myself. And at that point, I resolved I would never get a do done for a do again. I put my glasses on to take a look. And guess what? I'm quite pleased. I'm glad I've actually come. And I make a mental note not to leave it so long next time. And I decide I'm going to put those anxieties into the bin where they belong, once and for all.